Hi team, welcome to another Team CP Quick Connect podcast where we keep you updated of all things going on and also share with you some stories of our awesome people that we coach as they get out there and doing a whole bunch of adventures. We've got episode 9. We're going to chat to Mo Topham. This is episode 130 of all the different podcasts we've done over the last few years. So pretty exciting. So Mo is, we're going to have a chat to her about her big bike ride that she did last weekend, which was over 200 Ks from Queenstown to Invercargill shortly. But before we go too much further and bring Mo into the show, want to check in to see how your May meters are going. How many vertical meters have you done so far? A little bit over halfway through May. How are you tracking? So I've just clicked over 5,000 vertical meters. 10,000 is the target for me. So see how you're going with that. Hopefully you're ticking along. Keep us updated with your meters around our Facebook page and let us know what you're up to. Hopefully you've got some adventures planned for the second half of May as well. With Daylight Savings, we've got our winter run group that's kicked off. So if you're Christchurch, Canterbury based, feel free to come along and suss that out. So that's available for anybody and everybody, but it's part of your coaching membership if you want to come along to that. And then if you're based anywhere at all in the world, you can also jump into our Wednesday, or not, sorry, just our Wednesday, but our Zwift group sessions that are happening as well. So 3 sessions a week that we do. So another way to get those vertical meters in. We've got our bunch riding skills morning for those want to know a little bit more about being confident and safe riding in a bunch. That's on Sunday, the 26th of May. So keep an eye out for that one as well. But without further ado, let's bring Mo into the show. Mo, how are you getting on? You're sitting in Invercargill today, are you? Whereabouts are you?
Yeah, I sure am. Right in the CBD of Invercargill, at work on lunch.
So, on lunch, yeah, good job. Yeah. What do you do for work, Mo?
Lunch. I'm a consultant down here, so I work predominantly with farmers, helping them to get land use change consents. Okay. So I do some of the, I suppose, expert nutrient budgeting that needs to be done to go through that process.
Yeah, good stuff. And then also your husband is currently working. You guys own a farm. You've got a couple of little kids as well.
Yeah. So we live about half an hour out of Invercargill in a tiny wee place called Headchote. On a farm, about 800 cows, and we're an equity partnership on that. Okay. Then we've got 2 kids. Elliot is 4.5 and Sophie turned 2 today. So
wicked. Okay, birthday party. How good.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. She's pretty stoked with herself.
Yeah, I bet she is. That's so good. So basically, that's as a summary, you've got a fair bit on, Mo. There's a bit going on. And then you also had this big bike ride that you did in the weekend as well.
Yeah. So last Friday, I took part in the Westpac chopper ride, which is it's been going 13 years down here now. So 13 years ago, there were some guys at Westpac who wanted to find a more fun way of raising money for the Westpac chopper. So that year, they decided to bike from Balclutha down to Invercargill to raise funds, and they raised about 14 grand. It's growing and growing as the years go on. And this year we had 92 of us ride from Frankton, Westpac branch in Frankton, down to Westpac Invercargill, and we've raised over 100 grand. It's still,
wow, that's awesome.
Money's still coming in, but yeah, it looks pretty good. So yeah, and over the course of the entire fundraising rides, they've raised over $1 million for the local Westpac chopper. So yeah, it's a pretty cool thing to be involved with.
So how did that fundraising happen? Was that happening on the ride? Did you do some yourself before the ride? How did that sort of go?
So each rider was expected to raise $1,000. And so I went out to family and friends and just asked them if they were happy to donate. I'm perhaps lucky or unlucky in that I've got family and friends who have used the chopper in the past. And so yeah, a lot of people are more than happy to donate to the cause. Others did raffles, or they sold shirts that Richie McCaw had signed, because we had Richie McCaw riding with us. And then there were a whole heap of other ingenious ways to raise money. But yeah, each rider did it sort of individually.
Yeah, fantastic. And for that fundraising, where is it going to? How does that sort of work within the Westpac chopper? Because you had a bit of an understanding about that. They talked to you about that as well?
Yeah, so my understanding is that there's funding for the day-to-day running of the chopper for the avgas and the paramedics that are there and the pilot. But if they want to buy more capital gear for the chopper, then that has to be funded by the local community. So the fundraising we've done has bought likes of night vision goggles. It's bought gear so that they can do maritime rescues, which is pretty important down here with Fovo Strait. And they've also put a lot of money into low-level flying paperwork. I don't totally understand, but low-level flying paperwork so they can fly in the dark at a low level between Invercargill, Dunedin, doing hospital transfers or from a whole heap of other places. And upgrading helipads in different places so that they don't melt in the sunshine that we get in the summer. So more that capital type stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that raises the level of what you're doing and why you're doing it and your training and the sort of vibe of the day, I'd imagine. So why did you decide to do it in the first place? What was the sort of reason for wanting to do this?
I've always had a soft spot for the Westpac chopper. I've always enjoyed being out on the hills and getting out there. And it's always been a bit of a comfort factor that when you set off your locator beacon, someone's going to come and find you if it went wrong. So I've had a soft spot for that chopper because of that. And then friends have used it a few times. And then I've seen the fundraising ride ever since I moved to Southland 11 years ago. And everyone rated it. Everyone had a great day out and everyone spoke really positively about it. And then this year was the first year that I could sit there in February and legitimately say, I think I'll be fit enough come May to do it. Yeah. So I thought if it's not going to happen this year, it will never happen. So let's sign up and go for it.
Good job. So how did that day unfold? Was it one continuous ride or just stop along the way? How did it go?
No, we all went up to Queenstown the night before, so on Thursday night. Yeah, we had a dinner together and a safety briefing. We had a few celebrities riding with us. We had Richie and Gemma McCaw, Nathan Cohen, and Paddy Gower. So they all spoke the night before, explaining why they were getting involved with the ride. Then on the day, we got up at a ridiculously early hour and made our way to the Westpac branch in Frankton. And set off about 5:30, including bagpipes. I think it's probably the first and last time I'll see someone in lycra playing the bagpipes as we cruised out of the branch. We went in 3 bunches, so 30 people per bunch from Frankton down to Kingston, just because it's a bit dangerous through the Devil's Staircase in the dark. And then after that, we rode as one large, 100 people bunch from there through to Invercargill visiting schools. So we had quite a few stops on the way. Visited 6 schools and sort of stayed off the main road.
Yeah, nice. And for those that are watching this, there'll be some that are listening, but watching, I've got a picture of that group, 2x2, and it's a fairly strung out group as well as you're doing it. And you had some police escorts as part of that and also people mic'd up within the group to kind of keep things safe as well?
Yeah, so we had a police escort and he was helping people from behind us get in front, if that makes sense. 100 people is quite a large bunch for someone to pass. Yeah, so he was flying past with his lights on probably every, 10 minutes or so. And they also had people within the bunch mic'd up so that if someone wasn't feeling great, they could tell the rest of the bunch. Or if the policeman needed to tell people to get left or that there's cars coming the other way or whatever, they all sort of knew what was going on and they could tidy up the timing as well. To be fair, given it was my first ride, I wasn't one of the mic'd up ones and I was totally oblivious to everything they were organising and just enjoying myself.
Yeah, good job. So what was the temperature like? How did you go sort of in the day? Because at Southland in May, I'm not sure what the weather was doing. I don't think it was super on Saturday, was it?
Yeah, I won't swear, but it was really cold. It was below 0 when we started. It got down to -2 or -3, I think someone said. And then when we left Ethel, it decided to warm up to a balmy -0.6 and then started raining. So we all got to Five Rivers so cold. It was horrendously cold. And luckily there were some people there with really nice coffees, so we all warmed up doing that. And then it was dry for the rest of the ride, but it didn't get over about 7 degrees, I'd say, somewhere there. So it was cold enough. Yeah.
Cold enough. Almost snowing by the sounds of that. That's pretty full on. And did you get too cold, or were you okay? You managed to have plenty of clothing on?
I was colder than comfortable, but I was okay. Yeah. We'd done a lot of practice rides leading into it. And before I started training for this, I'd never ridden my bike in the rain. And during this training, I don't think I got a dry bunch ride. So I had tested my jacket, and I had bought neoprene booties and gloves and new hats, and I was wearing 3 or 4 layers of wool, and I sort of had all the gear. I could have gone skiing in the gear I was in.
Yeah, good. But you needed that, but you tested it, and that's part of sort of those rides beforehand. So tell us a bit about your cycling background. Have you done big rides before? Was this way out of your comfort zone? Where are you coming into this from?
I've done a bit of cycling. I've done the Wanaka Challenge a couple of times, and I did the aqua bike this year. So that sort of Wanaka Challenge is 90k bike ride, and the aqua bike's 120, all on aero bars. So I'd done a reasonable amount of biking, but I'd never biked in a bunch. And so when I was leading into this, I thought fitness I could probably do. I could probably just get really grumpy and stubborn and manage to get to the finish line on fitness. But the bunch riding thing was a real learning curve. So.
And how did you find that bunch riding compared to sort of the ride? Because a lot of riding you've probably done on your own in the lead-in before this. How did you find the bunch riding and that element of the event?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. Yeah, it was so cool to meet so many people from around the area down here that I wouldn't come across through my day-to-day work or day-to-day life, and be able to have them, you pair up along the bunch, and just they can't go anywhere. They have to talk to you. So you get to interrogate them for a bit and learn all about them, and why they're there, why they're doing it, how their training's going. And it was just really cool. And then going along to the bunch rides week after week, you start to develop a friendship, and that you know what they've been up to and how things are going. It was just, it was really cool.
That's super cool. So how did you train? You got a couple of little kids there, obviously work that's busy as well, and the farm and things. How did you manage all that and still sort of have time to do some riding as well? Yeah,
I became quite friendly with Zwift, and I could train on Zwift before the kids woke up in the morning. So you'd very kindly told me I wasn't allowed to get up before 5 a.m. So I got up at 5 a.m.
Till night time,
and then tried to get it done before the kids woke up, because they tend to wake up a bit after 6. So I did maybe, I think, about a couple of those a week, and then a 1 or 2 bunch rides in the weekend, and the kids were babysat while I was doing the bunch rides. So we're pretty lucky. We've got a family down the road with 3 daughters, and one of them each weekend was happy enough to come down and look after the kids. So
that was well. That's good.
Yeah,
nice. And so for those people that are listening to this that get along to our Monday morning group Zwift session, you might have seen a Mo Topham for a little bit come along for a ride, but then sometimes drop off early because the kids wake up. But you did get along to a few of those, didn't you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed those, but Sophie didn't appreciate it, so I had to leave early a couple of times.
The kids don't tend to work if you put them to bed later. They get up later. That doesn't tend to work, do they? They're just sort of grumpier.
No, daylight saving doesn't work with kids either.
It's opposite with kids. So what was the highlight of your whole experience and whole adventure of doing this?
I had a heap of highlights. So the whole day was great. Like, absolutely loved it. It was really, really cool going into the schools and seeing how enthusiastic the kids were when we arrived. A couple of the schools gave hakas to us, which was amazing. My husband and kids came along to a couple of the schools as well, so it was great to see them. And then my parents were at the finish line So, got a big hug from them there too. I was also really impressed with the whole group, with all the riders and how they managed to stay enthusiastic for the whole day too. Everyone was just in such a good mood the whole day, and it was just such a joy to be involved with. And right from the people riding to the supporters to the schools to the people you saw on the side of the road, everyone seemed to know what we were up to and just seemed stoked for us to be there. And it just wears off. You can't be unhappy in that sort of environment.
Yeah, that's so good. And because it's tough, it's not easy. So, but that's so good, just being surrounded by those positive people that are just willing to cheer each other on, help each other out, be part of that, and just be positive, because you've got a great cause that you're riding for, but also to help each other is pretty amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
So good. How did you manage your nutrition? Just sort of talking about sort of different stops that you had during the day. You mentioned a coffee there before to warm you up. How did you do that? Because probably before you answer that question is, how long did it take you? How long were you out there for?
I think it was 8.5 or 9 hours riding time and a bit over 12 hours in total.
Yeah.
So in terms of nutrition, I had pure in my drink bottles. And then I had chew things in my lunchbox on my bike, and so I was eating those as I was biking. And then when we got to the stops, we had support people with the biggest bags of lollies you could ever imagine, and baking and biscuits and coffees and toasties and burgers and cans of Coke, like anything you could ever think you might want on a ride like that. Someone had already thought of it and brought it along, and it was all just open for the riders to have as much as they wanted. So each time we stopped, I just loaded up on food and hoped I hadn't overdone the food, and then jumped on the bike again.
That's good. Did you take any extra snacks in the top tube bag for you, or anything like in the back pocket as you left?
Yeah, I pinched a few lollies and chucked them in.
Good.
But it was pretty cool.
Our nutrition strategy, when we talked about it beforehand, was basically fat camp, wasn't it? If you can put on weight, Mo, that's success. So how do you think you went there?
I don't think I lost weight. I'd be doing bloody well to have lost weight with the amount I ate. I felt like every time I stopped, I was a bit worried that someone might pull out a camera and I'd be that person with the cheeks full and the mouth half open and chocolate around the face. Just constantly eating. Exactly.
Good job. I didn't see any photos. Maybe you did jump in and delete those ones. I did try and search for some photos of you. Actually, as I put that photo up of the bunch before, but there is a photo here of the whole crew in front of the helicopter. If we zoom in there, I don't see anyone holding any food at that moment, but not sure exactly where you are in that photo, Mo.
I was right down the front in the middle. So nice work. No, that's awesome. So were there any tough moments? Were there any bits you're like, oh God, this is getting hard, I just want to be there now? Or any times that you sort of struggled at all? Yeah, there was a bit. We went out to Headchope School, which is like our local school, and then we were coming back towards town, and instead of coming directly to town, so this is about 200k in, instead of going directly to town, the way we went, dog-legged off to the side and went well off track, and it was quite demoralising turning off to know you were going further away from town rather than going closer. And I've been so excited to see the kids at Headchope. I probably hadn't had enough to drink there. I was too busy chatting to people. So I got along there, and I was I wasn't feeling that flash, just the having been leaning over the bike for so long and not really doing the nutrition. So down to half a bottle of pure, and then got to Woodlands and had a can of Coke, and life was pretty cool again. So it was only a shortish time, but
I've probably had enough now. I think I'm ready to stop. And there was also there was a steep climb that was everybody gave it a bit of a crack. Was that in this first half of the ride as well? How did that go, and what was that about?
Yeah, so they do a King and Queen of the Mountain up the Jollies, which is near Five Rivers. Before the day had started, I decided I wouldn't have a go at the Queen of the Mountain just in case I totally cooked myself and didn't enjoy the rest of the ride. But I was pretty stoked. I've had a bike that the gearing's probably a bit too highly geared for me. It's a hand-me-down bike. And it's always been a bit of a worry that I'll get onto a hill and end up walking because I'm not strong enough to turn the pedals around. But I was pretty stoked that with the training I've done, I actually found the hill all right. I thought it was going to be an absolute mare, and I thought I'd be swearing most of the way up it. But I got to the top without too much swearing, so I was pretty happy.
Okay, we'll claim that. That's good. So I'm going to put a bit of an image on the screen now, and you're going to give me two numbers. You're going to be, first of all, when you were at the top of the hill, how you were feeling then, and how much swearing you may or may not have done. And then also at the end of the ride, as you mentioned, as you dog-legged away from town and sort of rolling into the finish line. So this is our cooked toast image. So 1 is a burnt piece of toast. Number 9 is it's only just been toasted. Where were you at the top of the hill, Mo, sort of halfway through the ride or so?
Probably about a 3. I was
so
definitely ready for that hill to end.
Okay. So that's pretty well done. And what about at the end of the ride? How toast were you at the end?
Well, not too bad. Maybe close to that 6. Okay.
So you could have carried on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I could have carried on. Yeah. I think though, if you'd said, "Oh, jump on your bike and bike home," I would have got pretty grumpy pretty quick.
Maybe the chin went in, maybe some tears. Yeah.
In hindsight, I think I could have biked, but in actual fact, you probably wouldn't have got me anywhere near my bike again for the rest of the day.
Well, even the fact that you're considering it, that'll definitely give that as a win. So what's next? Where are you off to? Is this sort of lit the fire that I want to do more of this sort of stuff? Will you be back next year? Have you got other adventures planned?
I hadn't really, when there's a really big event coming up, life is sort of a before event and after event. And I hadn't really done any thinking about after the Westpac ride. And so I'm still pondering what options are out there and what might be fun. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the idea of doing something that's for something bigger than myself. So doing the fundraising. Whether I go and do something, another fundraising type of thing. And I'd love to be back next year if we can wrangle the kids in the farm so that I've got time to train again. It'll be really cool.
Yeah, good. No, that's awesome. And it's, at the moment, you just need to go and bask in your glory. It was only in the weekend. So, just go and enjoy the bit that you don't have to do too much at the moment and enjoy hanging out.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm making the most of that. Don't you worry.
Yeah, good stuff. Oh, and the other question is, if others that are listening to this or watching this want to be involved, is this something that anybody can do? How do you sort of get involved in this in the first place?
Yeah, so they have a Queenstown to Invercargill chopper ride Facebook page. And in about January, February, they start putting the feelers out for anyone who might want to take part. And you basically ring the organizer and they have a chat about your ability to bike and that sort of thing, just to check that you've done it or you're fit enough. But they're fairly lax, to be fair. Like, they let me through without too many questions. And then from there, they for anyone in Southland, they start linking them in on the bunch rides each weekend to help people train. And then keep in touch right through. So we paid for our accommodation up in Queenstown and put a bit of a contribution towards the petrol and the rental cars that were required to support it. But otherwise it wasn't expensive to be part of. They want people involved and they want help with the fundraising. So
Brilliant. Good job, Mo. Well, that's awesome. You've done a job well done, and great to be able to cross that finish line, achieve something big for yourself, but also achieve something for the greater good as well of everybody locally, and getting those helicopters kitted out with lots of great gear. And well done on all that fundraising. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and thanks for all your coaching, Richard. It makes a huge difference not having to worry about the overall picture and just do whatever's on my training peaks each day. Not that I'm great at doing 100% of it, but not having to worry made a huge difference. And knowing when I got there on the start line that I'd done the work and that all I had to do was go out and enjoy it and go through the plan that we'd set. It makes a huge difference. So thank you very much.
So good. No, I appreciate it. And I really enjoy working with you and working with others along the same sort of lines. It's definitely adds to my day, which is pretty awesome. So, yep, go and look after yourself, and we'll catch up again soon, Mo. Thanks for your time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good job. Well done. Just like that. So if you want to find out more about that, as I say, I'll put the link into the Facebook page so you can find out more about that. But all the best for your weekend. All the best with those May meters, and keep on adding those to the calendar for the course of May, and keep in touch and catch up soon. Cheers, team.